We are live once again on the Scotch and Songs podcast. Um, we're gonna let Cole take the lead on this one because this is his suggestion. And
Right.
before we jump into that, we'll do a little bit of housekeeping. I once again bust out the Sweetens Cove. No particular reason, just that's what I happen to have at the moment.
Right, and we're uh wrapping up our vacation with some Tullamore Dew.
That is still on my list for my next liquor store trip. Next week, assuming my computer doesn't have a hernia, um, we'll be breaking down my live performance because that is this Saturday.
My computer has a hernia. It slipped a disc.
Yeah. This poor computer. I need to hurry up and get the other one built.
Yeah.
Money is an issue. And just for the CPU and GPU, it's going to cost me $1,500. And that's Amazon prices.
Yeah, unfortunately building a solid, quality, consistent, reliable machine is, an expenditure.
Let's be honest. I'm planning on building a supercomputer.
Listen, I've been playing the original Oblivion, and doing anything is an expenditure.
Yes. Mom says she's here.
Um,
Uh, so this is your deal. Give us some band facts.
right. This is my deal. Right. So Porcupine Tree is a British band. Um, there we go. I've got my window settings set up here the way I want, finally. Um, right. So Porcupine Tree, British progressive rock band, formed in the late 80s or early 90s. It's a little bit blurry because there were some Steven Wilson recordings in like 1988, but Porcupine Tree didn't really become like a thing until 92 or 93. In fact, the first songs that we'll be getting into from them are from the 92 or 93 sessions. For a couple of years, it was mostly a solo Steven Wilson project. Steven Wilson, phenomenal guitarist, very underrated. Most people don't talk about how excellent a songwriter Steven Wilson is. Um, and for the people who do know, the vast majority of them are progressive rock fans. And probably Porcupine Tree fans. Um, in 92, 93, 94, somewhere in there, they solidified their lineup into Wilson writing most of the material and playing guitar, with Chris Maitland on drums. Later, he's replaced by Richard Barbieri. I know all of the musicians in Porcupine Tree, and I can't think of them right now. Give me a moment.
I usually just read it off Wikipedia. Cole's going off the top of his head.
Right, and I'm gonna feel dumb for resorting to the Wikipedia on this one because I know all of these things.
I just, hey, all the information in the world is on Wikipedia.
Right. Gavin Harrison. I'm sorry. Richard Barbieri is keyboardist. Colin Edwin is bassist. Chris Maitland was drummer, later to be replaced with Gavin Harrison. I'm sorry. I misplaced a person or two in this exchange. Um, the vast majority of the songwriting is done by Stephen Wilson. Most of Porcupine Tree's um most of Stephen Wilson's solo project reflects works by Porcupine Tree. Um, originated in '87, like I said, late '80s. The first proper album PT really did was on the Sunday of Life. Um, that itself was a composition of EPs done before um, Porcupine Tree really solidified as a bit. Um, it's notable that tonight we'll be skipping Voyage 34, but Voyage 34 is itself a 34-ish minute song recorded as a single take. Um, so, given the format that we follow, not exactly conducive. I'm sure that there will be some other
Trying to
point
follow.
in our time frame where Drake posits something to me and I respond, and we're gonna have a night or two where we will do a couple of 20-minute songs, like we might do 4 20-minute songs across the whole night. But tonight is not that night.
No,
Um,
we just have a couple of 15-minute songs.
there is well, let me look at the list here. There is one 15-minute song. There is one that I did not realize was 13 minutes, and there's one that's actually three songs.
That's beside the point.
So, well, two two songs and an intro bit, right? So, um, um,
A lot of songs. Probably going to be a lot of, well, I'm not drinking scotch. Neither one of us is, but a lot of songs on the Scotch and Songs podcast tonight.
and if we can stick to a time frame like we did last week, we might be able to get through half of them.
uh, just
Uh,
just when I was making up the playlist, good luck.
so Porcupine Tree was and has been active, was active from their inception in the late '80s all the way through to 2011, 2012. Um, yeah, about 2011 or so. And then they released a single in 2021, and there's been a couple of tour dates and shows since then, but nothing solid forthcoming. Um, though Stephen Wilson has focused a lot on his solo project in the time since 2011. Um, there
Still,
were
that's
a
an
number
impressive
of
career.
phases. I mean, it's a 40-year career,
Yeah.
really, right? Even if there's a 10, 13-year gap, whatever there, like it's a 40-year career that we're looking at.
Well, I mean,
Uh,
look at Motley Crue. They've had a 40-year career, and that's even including the Karabi era.
ooh.
Nobody includes the Karabi era.
But I mean, like when we did Ozzy after his passing, like the span of time that we were looking at there is 60 years. There's
Yes.
no way we're cramming all of that in, right? So if we skip a couple of PT albums here, like or Steven Wilson solo stuff, like unfortunately, like it's a huge span of time that we're trying to condense into a uh more reasonable application of time. Um,
Well, I mean, we usually go for about 2 hours, which is a lot.
uh, right, but even with that, we can generally condense most careers into, here's a sampling of most of whoever's works.
Yes, we try to. We tend to get pretty
Um,
good.
so I think what I had sent you was generally about one song off every PT album with, a couple that were doubled up. So like the list I sent you might have been 14 songs across their 9 albums. Right? So
And I typically only put 11 on a playlist because that's generally where we get to.
but I also knew that some of these, like anesthetize, which we absolutely have to do, um, are uh solid chunks of time for most people. Um,
I'll make
the
sure to
fact of
keep
the
an eye on
matter
our
is,
timer so that we can cram that one in towards the end.
right, and chronologically, it does happen later in their career. Um, there's one or two albums that I left off the list, but then there was also, like I said, a conversation that should be had about the incident because we can find selections from the incident to play, but it's worth noting that a couple of Porcupine Tree albums, in this case specifically the incident, but there's one or two early on in their works that are all meant to be viewed as individual songs, right? Where the whole album is actually one single song. Um, and there's
I
a
just
number of
I just have to point out. Do you see how animated he gets when he's talking about something he's really into? Like
so there's
he's over. Cole's over here talking with his hands, and he is. I don't think you have ever been this talkative on any of these.
right. I really dig some Porcupine Tree. I'm if it's not obvious, I dig me some Porcupine Tree. Um, and like there's a number of artists who have released albums that are single songs, where the whole album is one song. Porcupine Trees or fucking Porcupine Tree. Uh, Pink Floyd's "Wish You Were Here."
Okay.
There are 4 songs on that album. It's a 45-minute album. There are 4 songs on it, right? And they are all the same song. But if I tell you that "Shine On You Crazy Diamond," all 17 sections, "Have a Cigar," "Wish You Were Here," um, and "Welcome to the Machine" are all the same song, would you actually believe me about it?
um, it, my knowledge of Pink Floyd is rather dusty. I'm not that big of a Pink Floyd fan, but I can see a through line with all of them.
Right. So it's "Shine On," parts 1 through 9, "Welcome to the Machine," "Have a Cigar," "Wish You Were Here," and "Shine On" parts 10 through 17.
Again, I can see a through line.
Okay. So,
I
A
was
lot
going
of
to point out
Porcupine Tree
how many
songs
artists
name.
have a 10-part song.
Most do not.
The only thing I can think of would be Pink Floyd.
The wild part here is that there are 17 parts to Shine On, and it's only like a 20-minute song.
Yeah, only.
You're right, but when you're talking about a song that has that many sections, that many movements, for it to only be 20 minutes and 17 sections, each one's only a minute.
For those who don't know, the typical rock song lasts anywhere from 3 to 5.5, 6 minutes.
And the 5.5, 6 minute bit is pushing it. Tool's Schism is 6 minutes 47, and that's long for a rock song.
Yes. So a
In,
20-minute
in fact,
song is 4 songs. That is 4 songs.
um, since we've mentioned Tool now, there are a number of Tool songs and a number of other longer rock songs.
Do I need to
And
take
just
a
in
drink for
general,
that?
some radio stations are uh, allowed and guilty of speeding up recordings by 3%. 3% is the maximum that they are allowed to do this. But speeding up songs by 3% to be able to play more songs within an hour.
Okay.
Um and that's, you know, not exactly what the artists have in mind.
No.
And sometimes there's a reason why songs are recorded in the E time sig or tempo that they are.
Well, uh, Guns N' Roses, November Rain is considered
Oh yeah.
an extremely long song. You know what you don't hear on the radio very often, if at all?
A cut of that song.
Yes.
They normally play, if they're gonna play it, they're gonna play the whole 8.5 minute. Yeah.
Mind you, that's like 6 minutes of Slash guitar solo. But
Yeah.
it's Slash. He didn't know how to end a solo. It's all one Slash guitar solo. There's a video that keeps going around Facebook. I've caught it a couple of times now, where Slash is playing with Michael Jackson, and they've got to get security to try and push him off the stage, and he's just still going.
Um, but do you know what the greatest solo in recorded history is?
Huh.
While My Guitar Gently Weeps.
Okay.
Tom
I'll
Petty,
agree with that.
Tom Petty, Steve Winwood, uh, Sean Lennon is there. Uh, is he? Maybe Sean Lennon's not. Harrison's son is there. Um, Annie
Okay.
Harrison. Um, I'm forgetting somebody else. But the important part here is Prince.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say the controversial thing. Prince is actually an amazing was unfortunately an amazing musician.
That's not a controversial thing.
At
That's a
all, I
damn
know.
fact. That's a damn fact of life. Prince was and still is a damned amazing musician. Out of every man that was on that stage that night, Prince showed every single one of them up. They could have done a damn Dragon Ball Z fusion dance. Every, 7 or 8 other person on that stage could have fusion danced into, or, the Vitara earrings into the same person, and Prince still would have had more musical talent in his left pinky than everybody else on that stage put together. The best solo in recorded history ever recorded on a guitar, ever played on a guitar, was Prince, While My Guitar Gently Weeps. And when he finished the solo, the man threw the guitar in the air and walked off the stage, and that guitar never descended from the heavens.
Yes, I am aware that my sarcasm went over your head. You know who we don't have on the list right now?
Who should have been crowning it? You damn right.
Just fixed that. Although,
We are going to Minneapolis. Pack a bag.
looking at my list now, there's a prince on there, but we don't have any kings on there. We got to do a BB episode. We got to do an Albert episode. To be completely honest, we could probably put those two together and just do the Three Kings of Blues.
That sounds like a fantastic thing to do in December.
Agreed.
In the meantime, we should probably play some Porcupine Tree because we've been at it for a while and haven't gotten around to the main event.
Yes, it has been 22 minutes, and what are you listening to? Us
That's
talk, not
enough
Porcupine
time
Tree.
for a full English breakfast. What are we listening to?
What you're listening to are musicians performing psychedelic music under the influence of a mind-altering chemical called
Oh, what the hell?
Did I kill it?
Yeah, it was your fault.
Okay. In the album on which they were released, 3 more songs occur in this span. This is now the 2nd song on this track, and the 5th on its album.
Feel no pain, 'cause I'm an island.
This is not what it says.
In the deafness of your silence, I love you sometimes, always never. You said you. Always never. You said you're here with me now. I feel no gain when you're around me. I'll try again. In the darkness, you astound me. I love you sometimes, always never. You said you're here with me now.
Right. So this is the song Always Never, which is the 3rd song on the album. Sorry, I'm reading what
Pandora got us wrong.
And Pandora has it wrong here. But I'm also, much more familiar with seeing all of these as separate listings. Right. So this is actually the song Always Never, when what I read was Minor Inferno Moment, which is what follows it. That said, the album these are on, Up to Downstairs, is largely, like we discussed earlier, a single song as an album.
I love you sometimes, always never. You said you're here with me now. is the only way to see the fire when it's raining.
All right, so how badly did Pandora get that wrong?
Uh, monuments build into moments. Monuments burn into moments is what that builds into.
Okay.
Um, so, uh, what you are listening to, and then that downbeat, what you are listening to are musicians performing psychedelic music under the influence of a mind-altering chemical called.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So that is the transition between what you were listening to and synesthesia. Right. Um, there's a song between the two of these, like between synesthesia and what came after it, which was Always Never, which is not noted here on Pandora. And Monuments Built into Moments is what comes after Always Never.
So in other words, very.
Well, not as bad as iTunes gets the end of Francis the Mute by the Mars Volta.
In other words, live streaming services don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Uh, Mostly, it seems. Particularly when it comes to exceptionally long or multi-sectional songs. No, don't believe what you're told.
Sorry, I was looking at the song list. I was thinking that was a cue.
Think for yourselves, question authority. Wait, hang on, this isn't the Tool album.
Which
Uh,
okay,
but
no,
but it
never
could be
mind. They
said
are on
that the
my
joke's
list.
on you.
Uh, the joke would apparently be on me, yes. Or is the joke on you?
Riding on a unicorn, stranded in my mind. Electric raven met me there to see what we could find. Endless realms of faded dreams lie stranded with the truth. We climb upon the wind of change. We say, you know the joke's on you.
I was gonna say, well, Cole walked off right at the end of that song. I'm trying something
I knew
new
my
today.
timing.
Um, so I don't know if they're a thing everywhere. I certainly don't recognize them from anywhere but Colorado. But Backwoods Cigars came out with a Southern Sweet Tea cigar.
Mm.
That was about my thought on it too, so I had to pick up a pack. And
Not sure how I feel about, you know, Southern sweet tea flavored things.
well, I've got Southern style sweet tea right here.
I have significantly less Southern but still sweet tea.
Um,
I have blended my roots and my environment.
to be honest, it doesn't taste like anything. Rather disappointing. You said we're skipping the next one
I didn't necessarily say that we're skipping the next one. Um,
for now.
so I'd like to point out that what we've listened to so far has been from Porcupine Tree's second album. Uh, with our first selection being off of the album itself, and the joke's on you, what we just listened to, uh, being from the collection of B-sides. The album is Up the Downstair, and the B-sides are called Staircase Infinities. Um, it's worth noting that the joke's on you is the only selection on Staircase Infinities that has any lyrics. The other four pieces on there are all instrumental. Um, the entirety of both of these albums, or album and EP as it were, um, are completely written and recorded, all instruments, by Steven Wilson, with the exception of the drums, which initially were a drum machine, but once he had a proper drummer, went back and re-recorded real drums to replace the drum machine that he had used originally. Um, if we do not the next one on the list, but the song number 4 on the right, and then we can come back to the one above it at some point, because that is a noticeable and recognizable work of PT. So this one is from, I think,
Well,
their first album.
but before you get into that, you're jumping the gun. How do you feel about drum machines versus real drums?
Ooh, that's a good question. Depends on what the genre of music is.
So,
Because for things like EDM, electronica, um, you know, pop, hip hop, R&B, rap, genres of music that are dependent upon more electronic musical generation, a drum machine is perfectly fine and acceptable. In uh, genres of music such as metal, basically any branch of metal, there are a couple of select, very tailored subgenres of metal where a drum machine is acceptable. For the most part, uh, metal, progressive, heavy rock, um, most rock genres, a drum machine is, I don't want to say unacceptable, but definitely not the route that I would take if there is a live drummer available somewhere. And if most of what you are playing is 4/4, 6/4, 6/8, uh, or a simple common time, there is no reason you cannot uh, hand your little brother or your cousin or this random guy off the street a pair of sticks and say, sit here and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, right? Or in a six, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, however you want to put it together, right? So, there is, uh, you know, if you are playing something that is 10 minutes long, or playing something that isn't a compound time signature, uh, you know, you might need somebody who's a bit more capable in a drumming capacity. Uh, if you're trying to do polyrhythmic things, okay, yes, you need somebody who can count in multiple different subsets on multiple limbs. Okay, cool, right? But it'll take a little bit to find a person who's trainable or has already trained themselves in that regard. But if you're just playing straight up four on the floor, uh, you know, clap your hands and tap your feet, uh, uh most people can hopefully 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, right? So there's not a need to have a drum machine in those genres of music.
So, I know a drummer who predominantly these days uses what's called a hand sonic. Have you heard of it?
No,
It's basically a drum pad.
it like okay,
It's programmable. You can get all kinds of different sounds on it, but instead of playing with sticks, you play with your fingers.
okay,
In a sense, it's a drum machine. But the reason he plays that as opposed to an actual kit, which I've been told he is amazing on an actual kit, is it is much easier to carry around something that is this big as opposed to something that
versus a
is
whole drum. Yeah,
a kit.
that big. And
That
I
big an
understand
electronic
that.
kit, but
Um, at some point, if more of my suggestions are accepted and followed through on, we might potentially cover a band such as, say, Chew Lips, right? Um, and it's a three-piece. Two of them are bassists who play other instruments, and one of them is a vocalist. Uh, and so obviously, sometimes they're bassing and sometimes they're playing keyboards, but the drums are all electronic. Um, Perhaps, at some point we may cover somebody such as D'Antoni Parks, who is a drummer who also has electronics incorporated into his own, you know, solo performances. Um, there are a couple other interesting acts that I don't want to give away who do similar things. Um, but like, I'm not opposed to certain genres of music and involving electronic drums or loops and samples. Um, it's just if you have the capacity to have live drums, that's much more something that I would gravitate towards. But I understand the portability of having a drum machine and the convenience of being able to make a more versatile arrangement with the capacity to sample other things onto the drum machine than just having, snare, hi-hats, toms, bass.
I used to very much agree. I'm sorry. Get a real kit. Come on. They're not that heavy. They're really not. I mean, I've got a
Uh,
full kit sitting in the corner on the other side of the room. But this thing, being an Alesis, is an amazing kit. And hearing Manny on that hand Sonic, he can do everything a real kit can do. And it's not like it's set up programmed to loops where he's just pressing one button and playing the song. He's actually physically drumming. He's also a little above middle aged. He's an older guy. So carrying a full kit onto the tiny stage of the bar where he usually plays would be impractical. I mean, that stage is so small. You put a full kit on there, that's the stage.
yeah. In a way, like there's something to be said about portability and, space efficiency, right? I would prefer a full live kit setup, but in the interest of practicality, whether that's portability, space accessibility, what have you, if electronic is what you have the capacity for or access to, you know, go for it. It, you know, depending on what I mean, like, I've never heard somebody playing in 17/8 on a compact, portable electronic kit of any sort. But
I know somebody who could.
I welcome the idea. Um, you know, uh, most music, uh, and particularly in situations where space is of the essence, um, you're usually only playing in 4 or 6 most of the time anyway. 3, 4, 6, right? The most common time signatures. Uh, so having a portable kit like that, or you're making like heavily electronic music anyway, so having a portable device like that is par for the course, expected, practical, convenient. So like I understand all of the draw to it. It's just most of the music that I myself would be making, do make, leans into the live kit.
I would very much like to drag the Alesis up to Fort Collins, set it up, and let Manny rock out on that. Because, well, the Alesis, I realize it's rather dark in the background, so you can't really see it. But it is very much a full kit, only it plugs into an amplifier. Which is great because I have a roommate that I don't want to disturb by playing drums all night. Um, do you know what people are doing, Big Brother?
Given what we've been going on about, much like our next song, they've been waiting.
That would be the joke.
for the day when I will crawl away.
I wasn't ready for you yet. That that last one very much feels like something that you would hear on the radio.
Uh, right. So while Porcupine Tree's early days were largely labeled as experimental rock, um, it was not long before they transitioned into a much more radio friendly feel and vibe. And from there, they'll eventually progress into, well, progressive rock. Um, there is a time frame here, and I think the song that started to play and the other one on here from the same album should highlight a good bit of what their pop-ish era is. If you scroll down the list, I'd like to see what else is on here. If I could actually see what was on here. I think uh Stranger by the Minute is probably the way we want to go next before progressing into these two that are from the same album that started to play.
Okay. So the next 13-minute
Like,
one, which would be Russia on Ice, I don't think we're gonna get to that one.
uh, right, and given the number of longer songs on the list I sent you, I totally understand.
So you want to do Stranger by the Minute next?
Right, let's do Stranger by the Minute, then go back to four chords, and then we can progress the list through there.
Okay. Because you said we have to do a anesthetize as the last one. So I'm trying
Not
to keep an
necessarily
eye
as
on.
the last one, but it's definitely on the must list.
Yeah, which you want to try and squeeze that one in towards the end, just because it is a 17.5 minute song. Um, and I'm just looking at how much time we have, and I know us. We're gonna get sidetracked by talking about drum machines or time signatures, or do you know what the most common beats per minute is on the radio anyway?
Um, Most common BPM on the radio. That's a fantastic question. Uh, right, so 120 is the average that you would expect in composing a piece of music, right? That's not slow, but it's not EDM fast, right? That's the average 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and right. So you're getting 2 beats per second, right? That's what beats per minute BPM, right? So 120 BPM is 2 beats every second. Um, what is the most common
92.
BPM?
92. If you
You
write
know,
something,
honestly, I was gonna say something much higher than that. I might have expected like 140.
no, it is 92. If you do things at
92.
92 beats per minute, people are more than likely to stick around and your retention is going to be better. That's weird. How do you know such a.
Country, you are dragging us down.
No. There is a YouTuber who does a lot of history videos by the name of The Fat Electrician. He does all of his videos. Like he will set a metronome. He has practiced it. And he goes at 92 beats per minute. His retention is
Huh.
amazing. Most pop songs are sitting right around 92 beats per minute. Most of what you hear on the radio sits around 92 beats per minute.
Right.
Which means
If I wrote you a love song.
which means
Sorry,
if you
I know
want
it's
a
not just
song,
related.
if you want a song to go multi-platinum, make sure it's set at 92 beats per minute.
Right. I really wish that we had an easy segue into this, into a song that we knew was absolutely 92 BPM, but we don't. So, the other way that we could possibly ensure that something will be a hit is to use a specific sequence of chords that humans are naturally attuned to.
We're not doing that one. Remember?
Right. But
Yeah,
there's
this show just keeps getting stranger by the minute.
Ghosts in the park appear just after dark. Killer's children, but no one has a harp. They look like tourists. It makes me want to laugh. lights won't light. Standing in the shade, I'm getting frostbite. Strange as I see, I'm getting stranger by the look in my dream. It's getting stranger by the when I'm drowning, drag me up to you. Rings in the water, my only residue. But you're just fiction, I'm a twisted boy. Strange as I see, I'm getting stranger by the look in my dream. It's getting stranger by the strange as I see, I'm getting stranger by the look in my dream. It's getting stranger by the strange as I see, I'm getting stranger by the look in my dream. It's getting stranger by the
All right. So you mentioned the four magical chords. What are they? Do you remember?
The four magical chords. I should remember them. Uh,
G,
A,
D, E
C,
minor.
and G.
No. G, D, E
Oh, okay.
minor, and C.
G, D, E minor, C.
The Cranberries.
Okay, well, I had
The
the
Cranberries.
Cranberries.
Zombie. G, D, E minor, and C.
Yeah, yeah.
Wagon Wheel. Originally a Bob Dylan song, actually, not Old Crow Medicine
Right.
Show. They're the ones that popularized it. Hootie and the Blowfish came by and repopularized it, unfortunately. Also, G, D, E minor, and C. And there's a whole list of songs. I could go grab my book. I play those chords quite a bit. Do you know what key that is?
Right. As a bassist, I really should. There's this thing that as a bassist, I don't need to know a whole lot. I just got to pay the.
At
So,
least for Wagon Wheel, it's the key of A. which is odd because A is not in those chords anywhere. But key of A.
which is wild.
I mean, you were right when you said A, just not about the chords, just the key.
Okay.
Also, if, and this is for our audience, not necessarily for you, because I'm sure you'll agree with me. If you go to a show and you yell out 3 songs in particular, it should be perfectly acceptable for the band to go, no, get him out of here. Do you remember what the 3 songs are? The 3 forbidden songs.
Right. Well, top of my list, if you request it, we'll get you one. Um, but the other two, yes, I should know what they are. But unfortunately, it takes the cake that if you request Freebird, I've got a free bird right here for you.
Yes, Freebird is one. Wagon Wheel is another.
But
And
rock me,
no,
mama, like a wagon wheel. Any
and
way you
no,
feel.
I will not play Stairway.
Oh, right. Well, I suppose I should have thought about the and riffs, right? Um,
Yeah, you want to get yourself kicked out of a Guitar Center? Play Stairway. As someone who is vehemently opposed to Guitar Center, by all means, go into Guitar Center and play Stairway.
or, yeah, okay.
I cannot stand Guitar Center. Um,
Walk over to the basses. Ask if you can plug one of the basses in. Fiddle around for a while. And then I want you to play on the low string. Open 3 5.
6.
Open 3 6 5. Open 3 5 5 3 open.
Congratulations, Cole. You just taught everybody how to play Smoke on the Water. So, I have a Guitar Center story. A Guitar Hero, close enough. I went in to
I went
buy.
to Guitar Center, become a guitar hero.
Most people that go into Guitar Center are wanting to start playing guitar because of Guitar Hero. I went into Guitar Center in Fort Collins looking for a very particular piece of equipment. The brand was not that important. The product name was not that important. More or less, what I was looking for was a Roland Cube Street. While I had one 3 feet to my left, no, 3 feet to my right, I stood at the counter after wandering the store for about half an hour. I stood at the counter for another 10 minutes and asked if they had anything like what I was looking for. I was told no. So I turned to my right, looked at it, and said, huh, interesting. Thank you. Walked out, went to a local music shop in Aurora. Oh, God, Aurora. And they knew exactly what I was looking for, and I got it cheaper.
Local music stores.
Come to find out, it wasn't really a local
If you want to
music store.
support a musician in your life, support a local music store.
They're probably working there. Come to find out, that particular music store actually is a chain, but it's a locally owned chain of sorts. They've got stores in Colorado and Utah that I know for sure. They might be everywhere else. I don't know. But
And if you want to support other musicians in your life, scan this QR code.
yes, scan the QR code beneath me and next to my brother. You'll be helping us out. It could be alcohol purchases for the Scotch and Songs podcast. It could be building the supercomputer so that we can add video. Once again,
it could be teaching me those 4 chords that make a million.
It could be. It could be buying him a metronome so he can play those 4 chords at 92 beats per minute. So, how good are you at picking out songs by ear?
Not amazing. But
do you think you'd be able to? Do you think you'd be able to tell us the chords that are in this particular song?
Right. Well, I guess I'll have to listen to it through headphones. But maybe.
I'm kind of curious. Mainly because I'm a smartass. I want to see if these are the same 4 chords. So while we listen to it, I'm actually going to try and look it up too.
Six of one and half a dozen black guitars and plastic blues. Hide behind a wall of nothing, nothing said and nothing new. 4 chords that made a million. 4 chords that made a million, million, million. Chords that made a million. 4 chords that made a million, million, million.
I was getting ready to say, I think we lost him. I couldn't find the actual chords. All I could find was tab.
Right, and it moves around a little bit.
It
So
does.
it's not straightforward in the it's not exactly those four chords.
Is it even close? So, according to Chordify,
Mm,
the chords that they're playing are D, C, B minor, and A sharp.
yeah, not quite.
I don't
That's
particularly trust Chordify.
right, but either way, it's not your E, G, E minor, C.
No. It could just be that I'm a smartass. I kind of expected it to be.
Right, well, as one will.
Which, if you want to hear all of the songs that those chords go into, Axis of Awesome, they're more of a comedy group than an actual band, does a bit about that where they actually play the songs. One of the songs that they play is "Don't Stop Believing," which I'm sorry would be number 4 on that list of don't ask a band to play these songs.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry. If you ask me to play Don't Stop Believing, I will stop believing that you're even going to tip.
Ooh. Well, you should know.
And you know what would happen if I was to say that live? I would probably end up with the blackest of eyes.
You would probably end up with, eyes.
That was not a setup or anything,
No. I feel like, that should be part of the game. Anytime one of them tracks the other one.
Mother sings a lullaby to a child sometime in the just inside my head. I got books that I never ever read. I got secrets in my garden shed. I got a scar where all my urges bled. Got people underneath my bed. I got a place where all my dreams are dead. Swim with me into your black eastern.
That was a little bit heavier than I was expecting.
This marks the transition between Porcupine Tree's pop and progressive metal phases,
Okay.
right? And it's a pretty stark contrast. They were experimental and bled into pop, uh, mostly on the British circuit, but there were a number of other things like Waiting, uh, Four Chords, and Russia on Ice that did see American radio play. Obviously, a radio edit of Russia on Ice because it's 13 minutes long, and that's why we're not playing it right now. But
Yes.
then, when they released this album in Absentia, that Blackest Eyes, which did see a good bit of American radio play, as did, I believe, Trains, the next one that we probably will play. And there's another song off that album. Um, there were, um, a couple ET albums here that saw, in different circuits, uh, a lot of European play, a fair amount of American radio play. And so yeah, they transitioned fairly hard between these two albums.
I could very much see, yeah, not necessarily with the vocals. The vocals are a little light, but at least with the guitar work, that being a Tool song. The chords are rather similar.
Okay, you're not wrong.
Um, if okay, we're gonna do something different. We should play that one. I think it's this one. We are deviating from Porcupine Tree. You see where I'm going with this one?
Just for a moment, for comparison's sake.
Yes.
Dun, 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 dun.
I'm gonna skip around a bit. I don't think that was really the right one, but you can kind of see what I'm going for. The chords and the way they're played are pretty damn close.
Uh, Now I understand the point you're getting at there. Yes.
Which that would be my favorite Tool song, which is why I immediately jumped to that one. That might not have been the right one.
Uh, no, I understand the bridge you were drawing there.
Okay. Well, you might. The audience might not. But the 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 double stops, the way the chords are played seem very similar to me. Although this might be the first time we've actually played Tool on the Scotch and Songs podcast.
I believe it is.
We might have to rectify that soon because I would like to listen to the whole. I mean, it's 7 fucking minutes, but 7 minute Vicarious.
Uh, yeah, I mean, it's 7 minutes. Parabola, Third Eye. Um,
Tool does tend to have very long songs, but that's also kind of a progressive metal thing anyway.
Rosetta Stoned. Um,
If I'm not mistaken,
anything. Every song off the new album, and I realize it came out 5 years ago. Every song off the new album.
was that
There is
really
not a
5 years
single
ago?
song on There is not a single song on Fear Inoculum that is under 10 minutes, with the exception of Chocolate Chip Trip. And I have my suspicions that all of the segues and lead-ins and interludes, however you want to classify them, everything that's not a full-fledged song on Fear Inoculum is meant to segue together or overlap into interlay into a full-on song, with Chocolate Chip Trip being the centerpiece of the entire experience.
Was that really 5 years ago?
2019. It was pre-pandemic. It was right before everything shut down. August
Holy
2019.
shit.
It has been 6 years, yes.
Oh god.
Which means we are a third of the way, just short of a third of the way to the next Tool album. Hang in there, fans.
All right. Looking at our time, we are going to be pushing it to squeeze 2 more in. So, you have a choice. We can do trains or we can do music.
Right, let's move on to Sound of Music, and then we can do our juggernaut of the night and see what else time we've got left.
Copy that.
Hear the sound of music drifting in the aisles. Elevator Prozac stretching on for miles. The music of the future will not entertain. It's only meant to repress and neutralize your brain. So get squeezed down, edges get lost. Demographic gives what you want. One of the wonders of the world's going down. It's going down, I know. building cheaper thrills. The music of rebellion makes you wanna rage, but it's made by millionaires who are nearly twice your age. Soul gets squeezed out, edges get blurred. Demographic gives what you want. One of the wonders of the world is going down. It's going down, I know. It's one of the blunders of the world, and no one cares. No one cares enough. One of the wonders of the world is going down. It's going down, I know. It's one of the blunders of the world, and no one cares. No one cares enough. One of the wonders of the world is going down. It's going down, I know. It's one of the blunders of the world, and no one cares. No one cares enough. One of the wonders of the world is going down. It's going down, I know. It's one of the blunders of the world, and no one cares. No one cares enough.
So, from what I can see, that's off the same album, and I am drawing the same parallels to Tool on that one. In this case, it's actually the vocals, because he does the same drawn out vocal style that Maynard does.
I mean, it's you understand where my draw to Porcupine Tree is then.
Yes. Which I'm looking at the list. Next week, we already said that we were gonna break apart my live performance. Do you want to do Tool the week after that?
Yeah, I mean, if that's what you want to do, I'm not gonna object to doing Tool. You're like, you want to do Tool? How do you feel about Primus?
So, I ended up running into some friends of Cole's that he had in high school at an open mic when I lived in Tennessee last. And whether he was aware of it or not, the nickname that they gave him was Timus, because there were two bands that he was always talking about, being Tool and Primus. That would have been Ledbetter that told me that one.
Right. I'm not at all surprised.
So,
It's worth noting that Ledbetter is also releasing a comic that I may or may not have inspired called Dead Better.
really,
Right, yeah, he's releasing a Dead Better comic.
I was not aware of that, and I've got him on Facebook. When was the last time you actually spoke to him?
Oh man, it's been a real long time.
I was
Um,
gonna I was gonna say you should hit him up on Facebook. Go, hey, heard you knew my little brother.
uh, Actually, it was not that long ago I sent him a message along those lines and have not heard back. Um, I may or may not have even sent him a link. Um, it's also worth noting that my 20th high school reunion is coming up like this year if we can figure out what the hell we're doing. So there's a realistic chance, assuming anything happens, that I may wind up in Tennessee and therefore could potentially uh, try to solicit some of his time.
I wouldn't mind having Ledbetter on.
Oh wow, that would be a wild experience, wouldn't it?
It
That'd be
would,
cool.
because there's one song that he played at Grandpa's bar, and I want to find that song because it's been stuck in my head for the past 10 fucking years now.
Uh, Listen, there's a song that I heard Sam Spivey do that has been stuck in my head the entirety of the time that I have been an adult.
uh, yes, I
And
could
I have
see
heard nobody else do it, and I have only heard Sam Spivey play it.
I could see him playing a song that would elicit that kind of response. Yes, that's somebody else I know because
Um,
he ran the open mic at Grandpa's bar, the real open mic. That's a story for another time.
um, you know, there's a couple of other Clarksville artists that like their songs live rent free in my head because the only place that I'm ever going to encounter them was that time frame in Clarksville.
So Ledbetter had a band, and I cannot remember the name that they went by, but they played a version of Foster the People's "Pumped Up Kicks" that made me actually appreciate
Ooh,
"Pumped Up Kicks."
yeah, no. I could see Led Better being all over that. Letter Better. That's his new name now. Letter Better.
Okay.
But I could see Ledbetter being all over Pumped Up Kicks.
It was
Um,
a, mind you, they used acoustic guitars, but it was a very down and dirty version of it. Made it sound more like a rock song than the poppy synth bullshit that Foster the People did. It actually sounded
hold
really
up,
good.
hold up. The Foster the People version, despite being poppy and synthy, is fantastic. So don't call it bullshit. Plus, the number of other songs that Foster the People did that came off the same album or they came off their subsequent album that are in the same vibe, but just as much of vibes as they are rockers. Like, do not discredit Foster the People for anything that they've done, despite what their vibe or aesthetic states.
I know one song by
Know
them.
absolutely what they are doing.
I know one song by them, and somebody else did it
Right.
better.
Look up Hell on a Beat because Hell on a Beat is fantastic.
Okay. Are you saying I should add them to my list here?
Um, Potentially.
No, potentially. There are two answers to that question.
Do or do not. There is no try.
Yes.
Right. Then I guess we're gonna have to do.
I caught the reference, by the way.
And given our time frame, the next thing we're gonna have to do is numb things up here a little bit.
Yes, I was planning on doing that anyway. Ooh, we got sidetracked. Imagine that.
This is apparently a live performance, but from their 2006 album, Fear of a Blank Planet, and that's this very much feels like 2 or potentially 3 songs. There are 3 sections. This is the longest thing we've. We're 12 minutes in. We will feel like we've come to the end. In 1 minute, hold your breath. It clears and it rebuilds. Alright. Not to stop there, but somewhere in here, when the transition occurs, if you're listening to the album version in headphones, or in a car stereo with panoramic sound, or panoramic stereo configuration, there's a riff coming up in an odd meter that shifts back and forth between the left and right speaker settings. Right, so it will pan back and forth. Like when that starts, it's the markers of the first and second sections of the song.
We're lost in the mall, shuffling through the stores like zombies. Well, what is the point I was counting out the waves, and I followed the short life as they broke on the shoreline. I could see you, but I couldn't hear you. You were holding your hand in the breeze, turning away from me in this moment. You were stolen as black across the sun. Thank you, Amsterdam. Thank you very much.
So it's very much like listening to three songs, but when you listen to the lyrics and consider the title of the song Anesthetize, it is very much all the same song, just from different perspectives and experiences.
Uh, I'll say once again, I was picking up some Tool vibes. Um, Although I could just be looking for them now.
Very much in the later aspects of their career, they tend to merge into the same or similar sonic space. You'll find a similar thing with Opeth, who
Okay.
started off in a heavier space and have moved more progressive. Um, even Tool themselves started off more as a thrash metal band and have moved into the sonic space that we now associate specifically with Tool.
That's fair.
So,
Which we also have a special guest on camera.
I see that.
I had to pull up her pillow. She got a certain spot she likes to sit on my desk. And she's about half on it right now. I'm pretty sure she's in heat. That's why she's being very affectionate. But Miss
Do you want?
Stratocaster. I don't think we're going to be able to fit another song in.
Um, right. So there are two other Porcupine Tree albums after this. Um, one of which is the incident. The other of which is closure slash continuation. Um, After the incident, they took like a 10 year hiatus, and then came back with closure and continuation. Um, oh, kitty.
Yeah. This is who I've been getting
Um,
for a while. She's been my little buddy down here.
I've I had the opportunity to see Porcupine Tree a couple of days after the incident released, without the knowledge that they had released an album. Like I was on South Street, Philly, and saw that the Theater of the Living Arts had on its advertisement um, Porcupine Tree with King's X, and a showing that was like 10 days or so away.
I was
And
getting
so
ready
I
to
said,
ask. I was getting ready to
no,
ask.
no, no.
Where did you see
This
him?
one happened. This one happened a month after I moved to Philadelphia. 6 weeks after I moved to Philadelphia.
Oh.
Right. So, like,
Uh,
literally, I was walking to an open mic and saw that, you know, Porcupine Tree with King's X. And I said, oh, yes, I am going to that show. Right. Walked up to the ticket booth at TLA, and it was happening at Electric Factory, which unfortunately is no more. Um, and so in 2009, 25, $30 got me in to see two of my favorite progressive rock bands. Um,
um, out
and
of
I was
curiosity,
unaware of this.
did they close down during COVID?
Uh, what, Electric Factory?
Yeah.
No, no, this was unrelated to the pandemic.
Well, I know a lot of spots have had a really hard time since COVID. So if you happen to have a local venue in your area, I know the Tucson area has the Rock. Fort Collins has a couple, the Coast being one, the Aggie being the other. And the Greeley area has the Moxie. Yeah, support your local venues. They in turn support local artists such as myself, and if he still played out Big Brother.
I'm a big fan of local music venues. Um, Buy local, shop local, listen local, think global.
Yes. Well, that local artist that happens to be playing out on your street corner today could be playing on the radio tomorrow. So,
That is how it happens for a great number of your favorite artists.
yes. Not everyone can be Motley Crue or Guns N' Roses where they kind of blow up overnight. Although, I recently went through and listened to Nikki Sixx's Heroin Diaries. Guns N' Roses almost didn't make it past Appetite.
Not surprised.
Because Appetite wasn't really selling at all. and then Motley Crue decided to take him on tour because the guitarist of Guns and bassist of Motley Crue happened to be drug buddies.
Guns and Roses.
Yes.
The precious.
Shut up! I'm over here drinking 111 proof whiskey.
It lets the filthy Motley Crue's get hands on it.
Filthy is a rather apt adjective for Motley, but yes. I do not have Motley on the list, although we could probably dig into some Nikki Sixx at some point.
I'm not sure I want to dig into Nikki Sixx. He's had enough things digging into him.
He actually lives not that far north of me now. Couple hours. I have friends that go play where he lives all the time now. At least used to.
What, Cheyenne?
No. Jackson Hole, Wyoming.
Oh, Jackson Hole. Yeah, I forgot about that. Okay.
Yeah. He lives in Jackson Hole now. I'm sure he's not trolling around bars looking for new artists, because at least according to everything he says, he's sober now. But
yeah, I would imagine that it's either incredibly difficult or incredibly easy to buy heroin in a place like Jackson Hole, Wyoming. And if it's not heroin, it's probably meth.
It's Jackson Hole. I would say probably meth. Meth is cheaper and easier to produce. That being said, meth was
drugs,
never
kids.
really. Yeah, don't do drugs, kids. Meth was never really his thing. It was heroin, and crack.
Yeah, I know.
and crack. Apparently, him and Vanity used to do crack together. That last one didn't go down right. If you've never had the opportunity, read the Heroin Diaries. Whether it's true or not, it's still a great read.
Right. Acid for the children.
Yeah, I would not recommend children read it. Young adults, fine.
Along the veins of Acid for the Children, Scar Tissue.
Elaborate, please.
Scar Tissue is Anthony Kiedis. Acid for the Children is Flea.
Okay.
Heroin Diaries is...
along the same lines. I got it.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was choking on 111 proof bourbon.
Right. Whiskey and Cocaine would be the Stevie Ray Vaughan story if...
Unfortunately, SRV didn't live long enough to write an autobiography. I also don't see him being the kind of person to...
Whiskey and Cocaine.
Did he? Because I will find that.
No. You said he didn't live long enough to write an autobiography, and I said, right, well, whiskey and cocaine.
Fair. Okay.
I mean, you would think that heroin would do it too, but, our lucky contestants of Nikki Sixx, Ed, Flea, and Anthony Kiedis happened to be the ones who made it through, whereas, unfortunately, Kurt Cobain was eliminated, Lane Staley was eliminated, Scott Weiland took a while, but was,
also
in like the third round. So...
it's amazing. Scott Weiland was in Stone Temple Pilots, got hooked on heroin, moved to Velvet Revolver with Slash, got clean, then went back to Stone Temple Pilots, OD'd on heroin.
Don't do drugs, kids.
Don't do drugs. Um, who was it? I read another autobiography, and it might have been Scott Weiland's girlfriend and or wife, um, who actually wrote it. I would have to look back and find it. But it talked about how she knew Scott Weiland and Anthony Kiedis, and if I'm not mistaken, talked about how she may have been the one who found Scott Weiland.
Huh.
I might be mistaken. You know, I heard about that on my fucking birthday. I'm a big Scott Weiland fan. I love Velvet Revolver. I love STP. I found out that he had died on my birthday. Granted, he had died like 2 days before, but still. Don't do drugs, kids.
Don't do drugs, kids.
All right, you want to wrap this one up?
Did you want to play one more song?
Do we have time?
Right. I will stick around for one more. Pull up. Right. We can either play Fear of a Blank Planet, or if you want to pull up The Incident, we can look for a selection of their 55-minute album song to.
We'll do. What was the other one?
Right. We skipped Russia on Ice because of how long it is. Oh, Trains we didn't do.
We didn't do Trains. We can do that when it's 6 minutes. You got time for it?
Yeah, I mean, so there's a number of excerpts of The Incident that we could do. The thing I was trying to build into before we got distracted, oh, hey, look, we're in character still. The thing I was trying to build into before we got distracted there was that when I saw Porcupine Tree, the one time that I've seen Porcupine Tree, I bought the ticket a couple of days before and saw them play a couple of days after they released The Incident. So when I saw them, they played the entirety of this album from start to finish, plus the bonus material that's not on the main album that comes with like a digital purchase or, certain selections. Right.
You guys can't see this. I pulled up this particular album. It is 18 damn songs.
Right. But if you look at how long most of them are, a minute and a half, 2 minutes, with very few
11 minutes.
There's right. So Time Flies is the longest on the album at 10 or 11, and change pushing 11.
I would round up to 12 with Time Flies.
Fair. The majority of them though are what, minute and a half, 2.5 minutes, right? With a handful of 5 and change, and then there's one that's pushing 12.
All right. So which one should we do? I guess pick a number between 1 and 18.
Okay. Let me grab my tea, and hopefully in the meantime, this will clear up enough that I can actually read what's going on. But I have an idea of where I want to start if that doesn't clear up.
Yes, my internet connection in this case is what's causing him not to be able to read it. Hopefully it does clear up. Or maybe it's his internet connection. I'm not sure. But I pulled up the particular album he's talking about. The Incident, which released in 2009. 2009, my family had rather recently moved to Tucson, Arizona. If I'm not mistaken, and if Mom's still watching, she'll correct me. We moved to Tucson around 07. He's getting more tea. So I'm just trying to fill time. By all means, look for your favorite artists' autobiographies. I know Nikki Sixx has written one. Evidently, Anthony Kiedis and Flea of the Chili Peppers have written one. Steven Adler, the original drummer for Guns N' Roses, wrote one. And so many more. Better on your end?
No, absolutely not. It's worth noting that while I've been up and every time I've disappeared off screen, I cooked turkey earlier this week because the wife and I were off work, right? We took vacation. So I took that turkey, and over the course of a couple days, the first night was one breast, the next night was a couple of limbs off the turkey. I took the other breast and made two turkey pot pies, but not really pot pies. They were shepherd's pies, turkey shepherd's pies.
No such thing.
What, turkey shepherd's pie?
Yes. Do you know what a shepherd's pie
right.
is? Lamb. Do you know what a cottage pie is? A little closer to what you're talking about. Cottage pie is beef.
Oh.
Shepherd's pie is lamb. It's also testicles.
Okay, so anyway, right? I took the turkey breast. I took mixed veggies. I took gravy. All of that went into a pie shell. Also some freshly sauteed onions, garlic, turkey breast in, then the veggies and gravy, right? And all of that went into a pie shell, and then that was topped off with mashed potatoes mostly, but the second one wound up with half mashed potatoes, half stuffing, because that's what I had, right? I had enough stuffing to do half of one, and then the mash all across the whole other one, right? And so, that worked out pretty fantastically. I'm gonna say so myself. I don't mean to brag, but that's how it is. So with the rest of the bird, all of the collected bones and the bits that aren't easily separable, spine, the breastbone, all the major joints, the tail.
Did you make a turkey stock?
I'm currently making a turkey stock.
Ooh. I'm interested.
Right. And again, not to brag, it's fucking fantastic. Right, I've been tasting it every time I've stepped off camera, and oh wow, let me tell you.
A week ago, I made about 1.5 gallons of marinara sauce. I've been eating on that all week. I still have 1 gallon of it.
Right. Damn near all of this is gonna get frozen. Right, and then it'll get used for other things. I'll probably make a turkey chili, I'll make a turkey winter squash soup, right? Whether that's Hubbard that I pick up later in the year, or the butternut that we're currently growing. Um, you know, and then
For
come November, I'll get two more turkeys, and I'll be able to do this again sometime across the winter, or
for
you know,
for those who are unaware, Cole grows his own vegetables. At least
as
mostly.
much as possible.
Yeah. Which, if you've got the space, do it. Because it is very much worth it to grow your own vegetables, grow your own herbs. Nothing beats fresh parsley or basil or carrots.
Uh, Rosemary clipped straight off the plant and then added to whatever you're roasting. Yeah, that's the way to go.
Yes, it is. I have a cricket down here.
I have all sorts of herpy wildlife outside, and with my air conditioner not running, the windows are all open, and so I'm surprised nobody's commented on, my amount of herpy feedback. So,
You have
pieces.
you have wildlife outside. I have a cricket somewhere in my bedroom. I don't know how he got in because I am in the basement. I can hear him right now. He's going to drive me
Yep.
batty.
Um. So anyway,
He got real
the one
quiet
time
after
I
I
got to
said that.
see, the one time I got to see Porcupine Tree play live. Right, they played the entirety of the incident as their first set, and then they came back and did a bunch of other stuff, most of which we've listened to already. Right, um, their playthrough of the incident with all of the bonus material in the appropriate places, um, which is hard to discern given that the whole album is one song. And there's four songs that are the B sides, which they played in the appropriate places on the album. An interesting concept. They also had a visual element behind them to go along with the entire playthrough. So it's more than just a single song album. It's also which is interesting because they could have done the entirety of, even with the cut songs, on a single disc. The album is 55 minutes. The cut material, the B-sides, are 20 and a half minutes. So they could have had a 75, 43-minute song, 75-minute, 43-second album song, including everything, which still fits on a single disc.
Technology is so amazing now.
Uh, that being said, it's more than just a single song album, it's a whole story. Right, so you really have to listen to, and I'm sure that at some point we'll do another band like Coheed and Cambria, or like we'll cover the Mars Volta some night, and I'll get more into the idea of a concept album where the whole album is a single song that tells a story, or is multiple songs that tell one story, or multiple songs that tell different aspects of the same story. Um, but so, like, being able to experience the whole album with the visual story behind it live, the first time I was hearing it was a really unique interesting experience for me, and like that's um, an intense but impressive way to experience new music. Uh,
Just gonna cut
Daft
in.
Punk's.
We are approaching 3 hours.
Oh fuck! Right. Let's play something then, and I probably have to go. Shit, you're right. Um, plus, my vacation is over, so I return to work tomorrow. Uh, I'm really pushing my luck here. uh, is there anything on the incident that jumps out at you as like this? With the exception of "Time Flies," because we probably ought not do that, though it
We
is
don't
the
have time
single
for
on
that.
the album.
Yeah, we don't have
But
time
if
for that. Um. All right, number 16, Bonnie the Cat. 5 minutes
Bonnie the Cat,
45
okay,
seconds.
that's a good choice. I like it.
Okay. If I had said anything else, would you have also said that's a good choice?
Uh, right. If you had said the Blind House, I've might have said add Occam's Razor just to lead in because that's what it does. If you had said drawing the line, I would have said the two in front of it leading into it. Uh, the incident you would need uh, drawing the line in Your Unpleasant Family, and that becomes a whole bit. Octane Twisted requires 0 degree of liberty, but also requires Occam's Razor so that you actually know the whole bit that's going on there, because that's where the album like reiterates itself. Um, and
So
after that, thing
you're
on
getting.
Circumania's by Verse is one whole section that like you need to listen to all together. So choosing something like Bonnie the Cat, yes, or Remember Me Lover, those are probably the safest single cuts to try to parse. So anyway, yeah, Bonnie the Cat, go for it. Let's go.
So the incident has that little red mark right there. So I would try and avoid playing that as much as possible. I am getting thirsty.
Oh,
I'm
right,
out of
'cause
tea and don't want to pour any more bourbon. I'm drunk enough. Let's go ahead and play the song.
You stand where I'm so unsuspecting. I know what will be. I hold your blood control to ransom. The cells divide and grow inside you. I know what will be.
We should probably end it there. This being our
We should.
longest episode of Scotch and Songs yet.
Indeed.
Granted, we also did get distracted for close to an hour there.
Right. Well, I guess that doesn't help much. And then considering we're playing songs that are, you know, of inordinate length.
No. But this has been another episode of the Scotch and Songs podcast. As always, feel free to scan that QR code next to Big Brother Cole and beneath me. If you feel like helping us out, it'll go to things such as different whiskeys that we can try, maybe some actual scotch, building the supercomputer, which is on the other side of the room right now. That's why I keep pointing at it. There will also be a link for There will also be a link for the wish list for the computer if you feel like you want to know exactly what your money went for in the description shortly after this gets posted. Because YouTube does a thing where I'm only able to edit it after a certain amount of time. I don't understand it, but it's what it is. This has been the Porcupine Tree episode. Next week we'll be visiting. Yes, the money could also go to visiting our mother, and possibly
Oh, yeah. That's a great idea.
it
I
is.
like it.
I mean, we could do an episode there in Arizona. Um, we have not done the Arizona episode yet.
We have not done an Arizona episode yet. That is true.
I mean, that would kind of be a thing. Go to Arizona to do the Arizona episode.
Uh, it- Wildly, you know who lives in Arizona?
I Set to Kill.
Maynard James Keenan.
That is not surprising at all.
Also, Justin Chancellor.
I'm gonna have to do some research for the Arizona episode, but that is not quite yet. Next week we'll be tearing apart.
In fact, Justin Chancellor owns a shop in Topanga Valley.
Huh.
And as you might be aware of, Maynard James Keenan has a vineyard, Caduceus Cellars, somewhere around Scottsdale.
Huh. Are you saying that we should make the trip to Arizona and get wine drunk before we do the Arizona episode?
I'm not saying no.
It would be something to go to the vineyard and pick up his wine, drink that for the Arizona episode. We may have to put the
Or do it
Arizona
for the Tool
episode off for a little bit.
Or do it for the Tool episode.
It's gonna be a while before I can travel to Arizona.
It's gonna be a while before I can travel to Arizona.
We'll work on that. However, next week we're gonna tear apart my live performance. Y'all can make fun of me. Mom says Brett Michaels, Alice Cooper. Alice Cooper has a radio station, has a radio show based out of Phoenix, I think. At least had.
Right, unsurprised.
Yeah. And the week after we tear apart my live performance and I get made fun of, we'll do our Tool episode. And we will work on planning the Arizona episode so that we can do it from Arizona.
That might take a bit of work.
Well, I would have to get time off of work, and then there's the cost of the tickets and getting a computer that can
Right.
travel.
But we would only need one screen.
That is fair. We would only need OBS and Pandora, which would make things a little bit easier, actually. Because my camera travels. Both of them do.
All right. Speaking of travels, I gotta get on with mine. I will see you later. Sorry, I gotta dip out.
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and end it right there. We will catch you